All right. Good morning, everybody. 5:20. I figure I would start with a screen that shows. Good morning, everybody. Well, first, let me do that. There we go. Figured I'd start with a screen that shows me missing a trade. These are trades that are frustrating. You know where it's going. You've done the analysis. Everything looks good. And then you don't get to participate. Yeah, these are frustrating trades. Trying to get these boxes set up over here. Sorry. All right. Yeah, these are frustrating trades. Was hoping for this is on the Euro USD 2-minute chart this morning. We got a nice breakdown right here. Watched this happen. Wait a minute. No. Watched. I came in right here. Yeah. Didn't watch this happen. This had just happened. I wasn't quite to the charts yet. Got to the charts when we were kind of settling here. We popped up, and then I was actually really paying attention when we started to roll over in this area. So really did like, good morning, Chris. Really did like this push, man. I mean, we broke this structure, we took out that structure. We had this little bit of an imbalance here, but I mean, just this really nice one. So at this point, when we had created this low, I was wanting this to pop up. That's where I had set my trade up and was wanting a little bit of a move here. As soon as it started to roll, we started to push like that. I drew the trend line and was like, I don't think we're going above that. But I was very, very hesitant to drop my play down, right? Because I didn't want to get in down here and then it push to where I knew it would. Could have always gotten in smaller, just have some skin in the game, but I didn't react soon enough, and it didn't come up. This big candle came in. We broke this little bit of structure right here, and this next one just shot down, breaking that. So I also didn't think if I were to have gotten in right here, and I think the reason why I hesitated with it is if I were to get in right here, then the risk reward to this liquidity from, like this point or even this point at this imbalance wasn't as good. So I still would have gotten a good 10 pips out of it, but I mean, you can't predict that type of a drop. So I just I elected not to play and just watched it happen. So in hindsight, this was a very good imbalance. We've already broken structure. We've already kind of come up to make a new high. It holds that high, creates a new imbalance. This is kind of like that order block reset and gets into the imbalance, basically closes it out and then rolls. So on a 1-minute chart, that could have probably been a good entry. Might have been able to talk myself into it, but I didn't. Yes, I am. So this right here was just the lows of that. This would have been my partial, would have been the break of the lows, kind of a wick down, 10 pips, been in and out. That's the 10, that's a 10 pip move. This black line, let me take you over here. I actually think it's on the 3-minute chart, but we'll see. Oh my goodness. Sorry for the whiplash. No, it's on the 2-minute chart. There we go. So I was targeting this beginning of this imbalance right here, right? So remember, this blue box is that old order block that I pointed out, I don't even know, someday last week, and we finally traded back into it. So this would have been the overall target. This was about 24-ish pips, something like that. But yeah, that would have been the overall target. Of course, we could have easily targeted something down in here, but I just felt this would have been a good area to catch a little small wick down to this spot right here on a 3 minute. Yeah, 3 minute chart. Let me on a 3 minute chart. This is where I had it. Yeah. So that large imbalance kind of starts right in that area on a 3 minute chart. And that's where I had that put at. So yeah, once we got into that order block, I went back over here to find out, okay, where is the imbalance? Where can I, place a box? Or in this case, I just wanted to put a line because it's just easier to see. And it was just using it for a target anyway. So I was just a little upset it didn't pop up. And then again, a little upset that I just didn't take the trade, like impulsively jump into that trade. This is a perfect delivery into that 1 minute imbalance. Whereas you can see over on this side, there isn't any, but there was here. So this move down kind of took out some intermediate lows right there, and you could have easily jumped in right there, but did not. I'm going to leave this line down here just to see if it actually gets to it. Because, I mean, look, we're building right here the same way we built right here. It almost looks pretty identical, except we didn't get to push up like we did right here. But yeah, that we're starting to build, top side right here, leveling out on the bottoms. So let's go look at the Dixie. One of these days, I'm just going to impulsively take the trade, probably get smoked, and then realize, oh, yeah, being disciplined is better. All right, so we have broken some highs here. We got a nice imbalance left behind here. This come down, manipulated, got all of that, took it up. Super good move. Hard not to be bullish today because of all this now. Maybe we get a return into this imbalance, but breaking that right there might not, might signal further downside. So we're just playing these areas though. I mean, I don't think I can take a trade here. I'd have to, and this was another thing, that you could see on the chart before I went to the Euro USD was this area. This is where the consolidation was happening. I was wanting a little poke down before going. Didn't give it to me. So maybe because it didn't give it to me right here, maybe we will come back and revisit that. But just push. Yeah, I don't think there's any other reason to go lower. Yeah, we're probably gonna make it here. Little build up yesterday evening in the Asian session. Asian session opened up about right here, right there. Had a little manipulation down, grabbing stops, and then popped up, grabbing these. Another consolidation area came down just below that, grab these stops, and then push up again, filling in this imbalance almost. And then slamming down, taking everybody out. And then it's rolling. So look how many people went short right here. And then this wick comes in. It was at 3:30. I looked at the news. Nothing really around 3:30. It should have caused that. Let's see. That would have been 3:30. Would have been 2 hours ago. Maybe that. But would that have forced the dollar like it did? This maybe. Just kind of a reset almost, right? Just like, oh, everybody's early. Let's take them out and then continue. There we go. I'm going to hit that target. Oh, that's frustrating. And once we've dropped below some of these moves, we have not come back to revisit. So let's see what it does around this area. Oh, crap. You see, this is a 1 hour order block. So if I go to the 1 hour chart, where are we at? Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. So see, this is the 1 hour order block. We're basically down almost 50% of that. Probably could get to the top of this. Some add another line here. Price could drop into that pretty easy, yeah. And then back to the 15. Yeah, that'd be a nice imbalance right there to fill. And then these lows, where are they coming from? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, even on the 15-minute, this would have been because there's the break of structure. This is that imbalance, man. That's that imbalance that I was looking for it to get back into. It just, anyways, I gotta stop crying over it. It did it on bound dollar, but we didn't break. So it retested that and then it rolled. Nice break. Look at that. Decent little move down. You probably call that structure, right? And then this pops back up into it. Then a grind down. That would have been painful. Oh, hey Liam. Sorry, man. I forgot to have the chat up. Oh, I bought some more Bitcoin. Seems we are safe today from the spammers. Nice. Knock on wood there. I hope so. I will keep that up. I am recording everything. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think I started recording before anybody got in here. Let's see. See what a trend line would look like on the Euro USD. 15 on the underside of it and top of it, I guess. 15-minute. Talking about maybe from way back here. I mean, it could easily be in a channel for sure. I think it's a little bit too tight. I mean, maybe. Far back, yeah. Yeah, we're at this move that's coming down for sure. Yeah. This kind of stopped a little short. You know, almost have to redraw. That's not where I wanted to put it, but which is perfectly okay to redraw these trend lines. It's a pretty good spot. Got a little touch there. Body's up here. Squeezing it down. This would be a good little area. That would be the bottom of that other imbalance that's over there on the 15-minute that I was showing you earlier. So maybe it plays out a little bit lower and then pops up. Yeah. Yeah, where it's been bouncing at. Yeah. And I mean, that's a cloned channel line too. I can change this line to match up better with the bodies. But it's pretty close. You don't really have to. Because, I mean, it did get some reaction here, obviously, interaction there. So there's no reason to not think that it wouldn't come down and interact here. June 16th. Is that back over here? Yeah. Yeah. And I pointed this out. I want to say, up in here last week, maybe after we were putting in some consolidation, creating some liquidity on both sides. because I kept thinking that we would come down because the dollar had obviously the dollar had been pretty weak, grinded, and then it was still kind of weak, and then so I was thinking over in this area, maybe not on this fall, but that we would break down and get into this order block at some point. I thought it'd be sooner than what we did. Let's see, might take Aussie dollar short if we can pop into that. Like I was seeing that a while ago too, man. But yeah, this is the order block from last week that I was pointing out that we finally got into it. So I missed a trade that I just should have just impulsively got into. But anyways, neither here nor there. About right in this area that would, and these were my targets because of this order block. 3 minute, 3 minute, Chris. Yeah. Looking for this imbalance. I also like that one. This is where the break of this structure happened. It also, this surge area is what created the break of this structure. So this is probably me in hindsight of missing that Euro USD trade going, I'm getting in here. And this is probably the more conservative play. So, but you could split your entry up, like if you trade on a one lot, go 0.5 here with a larger stop loss. And then if it comes on down, you're making money. But if it doesn't, you can add your full size here with the same stop. And then you can probably be making money at break even here, right? Easily be making money, obviously, be making money at break even there. And you can either take it all off in this area or, just trail your stop down. Be a good way to maybe try and play that. Go back to 3 for you. Euro is clearly a little weak. Breaking that structure. I was showing my son yesterday. Let's see. I think it's definitely a phone. Yeah. I was showing my son yesterday part of this, kind of market structure deal. Let's see where you've got that imbalance from. I'd say the start of this massive bullish arc market structure. Wow, that Aussie dollar chart looks fake. The candles were looking the same. Yeah. But I was showing my son yesterday, just kind of like the market structure, how it, you have, these types of imbalances, taking out stops, coming back up, getting into the imbalances, and then rolling over. I was showing it to him on the futures because he actually traded the futures last year while he was a freshman in college. And I wanted him to just trade micros. Like I told him, I was like, $50 a day, dude. Just make 50 a day. Put two micros on. Once you hit your target with one, take it off and let the rest run, right? And then just, trail your stop, put in the trailing stop. And he he made a little money on the minis instead of the micros. Like he understood the difference between micros and minis, where he made on the micros, he was making like $10, $12, on a trade. And we just had like I think we had enveloped moving averages. So I think we had like the 20 moving average. So it would look something like that. And then you'd have a deviation and then another deviation. You had like that on top too. So, anyways, when price would get to total counter trend, when price would get to a lower band, you would take the counter trade and then let it work back to the upper band. And this is where you take your target. I mean, it was a simple little strategy that, by the way, worked pretty powerful if you had great risk management. Because when you're trading something like that, it's kind of hard to put in, a stop loss, especially if you're on your lower band. Like where do you put your stop at? So, anyways, he got smoked one day. This is in college, and the probably the biggest issue was I didn't give him the correct tools to trade with. But I did tell him, I was like, look, stick to the micros. You'd rather lose $20 than $200. Well, he called me one day and he was like, Dad, I'm stuck in a trade. I'm down $1,200. I was like, what are you doing? And he had gotten onto the minis instead of the micros because the day before he had made like $175 like that. And that feeling was obviously pretty amazing. Although being down 1,200 was not. So, anyways, he had taken one of those trades. He did not have any kind of risk management on it. And the risk management part, that's completely my fault. This was back before I knew I could read charts, but futures was just such a volatile beast. And anyways, he ended up getting smart. Like he was down at one time. I think he had a $3,500 account. I think he was in one micro because he had leverage with it. So he's in like one micro. And yeah, it was a great learning experience, but he was like almost in tears, like, Dad, I'm losing my entire savings. It's gone. And I was like, it's okay. I went to my charts and I started charting it out. And I was like, okay, so listen to me. You got to make two decisions. One, when do you bite the bullet and just say you lost? Right? Clearly you're beyond that point, but you don't want to push the button. And I was like, but you are going to have to pick a number that you're going to say, this is it. I'm not going any lower. I was like, and if it's $1,500, $1,500. And then I was like, or you pick a number in which the price will more than likely trade back to, and it may be $700 and you take the loss. So anyways, he ended up, I guess he ended up coming back. And at that time, it was like $800 or something like that. And his number in his head was like 400. And he didn't sell at 8 and it backed down, and he went ahead and cut it at like 1,200. And it was a little over $1,200 that he lost in that account. He was so sick, so sick in his stomach. What made matters even worse, 10 minutes after he cut his trade at 1,200, this thing took off. He would have actually probably profited like $2,000. And don't get me wrong, it's not about being paid. He should have already been out of that trade long before it happened. Like he should have been out when he was down $100, you know. But anyways, that just made matters worse for him because he was like, I'm never trading again. That's it. And he was like, it just steals your money. So, but lesson learned, like I told him two things. One, you're not experienced enough to play the minis. You're probably not even experienced enough to play the micros, but the micros are so, 10 times less. You can lose $20 and be fine with it. And then, two, risk management, right? You already got to have that number in your head before you take the trade on. And especially if, you're not using stops, like obviously you clearly need to use a stop loss. But at the time, if you're not, if I enter here, if I go red 200, I'm out, period. That's it. But, just destroyed him. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you were, and yeah, clearly his risk management and his management of his trades, he was literally wanting to push a button and make money. So the day before it worked out for him. He pushed a button, he made 150, $175 the day before, and he was living large, right? He pulled like $50 out, and this was a personal account too. So he pulled like $50 out and like had a good, I mean, he's in college, $175 for a college student. You can feed the dorm. You can take the dorm to the bar. But he didn't see it. It didn't happen for him. Next day, he was not taking anybody to the dorm. I mean, to the bar. But again, it was a good lesson. A good lesson happened early. So yesterday, when he came and asked me the question, I was like, I've been waiting for you. This is for you, buddy. So kind of piqued his interest again. I think I'm going to end up getting him I'm really liking this breakdown right here. I think I'm going to end up getting him either a Lilu account or Top Step, maybe just something that he can afford to get into. Like I would love for him to be able to get into an RLT account, but just he can't put away that kind of money right now. So I mean, he's about to go back to college in the fall, so his job is not going to be working as much. So on a 2-minute chart, I'm liking it even more. Here's the breakdown. We do have this imbalance up here, but this is where the break happened. So I think I'm going to go to the break. I clearly have about 8 pips I can put as my stop. And then we can drop this down to 10, gets us to the line. 10 gets us actually before that trend line. If we want, since it's there and visually we can see it and we already know that it's touched a few times, respected it. Now we just need to come back, and it's not going to. So higher time frame imbalances, Lim, I would say yes, they are pretty important. It just depends on which ones you're trading on. So this order block was on a 1 hour chart. I clearly don't trade the 1 hour chart. But it can give me some type of bias. So once we started rolling over up here, once we started to roll and we started breaking structure on the way down, well, now I clearly have an idea of where price probably wants to go. So there's imbalances on the lower time frames within this order block that I can go in and start really focusing on, like I did this morning when I missed this trade. Look at that. Almost perfect. So imbalances over time, yes. So if you were to, think, okay, if we break back out of this order block, going along is a possibility, and you can target places like this on 15-minute or the 1 hour chart. This imbalance for a long out of this area. Now, I'm not setting up any kind of trade or whatever. I'm just saying that price will be drawn like a magnet to certain areas. That's a perfect magnet. I don't know. It looks like Alvin and the Chipmunks, eh? Anyways, price should be drawn to these areas first on higher time frames for sure. But there's no telling when this is going to decide to come up. We break through this order block and just continue down. Fundamentally, the dollar is still strong. We keep talking inflation. We keep talking rate hikes. The dollar is going to remain that way, especially if we outpace the euro the way we've been in their fight for to control inflation. So, that's the reason why I try and do my best not to pick bottoms or tops or anything like that. I just try and pick where price could go, areas like right in here. I would assume that in this area, we find some way to break some type of structure to have some type of pullback. This seems like a pretty good spot for it. It's a long down channel. It's a long down move from the tops. I mean, for almost a week now, a little over a week now. So at some point, this would be a good area to start finding those reversals. Not going to be able to take this trade. We'll go ahead and cancel. We just had to watch price again. So that's what I'm saying. Like maybe if I went to, it didn't even redeliver on a 1 minute chart. So perfect. Tapped it and bounced. Let's see how far it bounces off that trend line. Love charts, man. I love how they do that. So yeah, when he came to me yesterday and started asking me about it, I was going through it or whatever, and he was like, "Wow, it's kind of crazy how that works." I was like, "Ain't it?" And he was kind of, you could see kind of his mind kind of working. And I told him, I was like, "Listen, when Lilu has another sale or something like that, I'll talk to you about getting another one at some, but you need to start looking into these things. Don't just go off of what I say or whatever. I want you to be able to do it yourself, So he's like, all right, I'll think about it. Oh, okay. Let's see. As price purchase and main imbalance, you look for smaller imbalances that may was previously bullish or small. Yes. Yes. So if you're on a higher time frame and you're looking for price to move, right, to a certain area, this is where you start picking the areas. And you start with a daily chart if you want to, and start getting kind of a bias on where price is, where price may go, right? So you have to look, quite far left to find out, it's been a pretty while since we've been down this low. Wow. It's the first time we've been down here since 2016. All the way back to like 03, 02. Wow. And then we just crushing because the market was doing so good in this area. The dollar was so weak. This is where Awanda's data starts. But if you go to like forex.com or capital or something like that, just another broker, then you can get more data. So this is kind of an important little area right here that we've been flirting with. So anyways, you can kind of get a little idea. I mean, if you look at it, even though this shoulder didn't come all the way down here and we bounced, I mean, clearly that looks like head and shoulders on the daily. And we are approaching the neckline down in here. May not get there today. We'll see. But anyway, so if you have, kind of your bias, right? Feel like this thing's going to go lower and break down into here. Then you can go to your lower time frames, look left for any imbalances to target these areas. Now we just looked left. There's not much left, right? If you feel like this is going to be a good bounce, then you can, go back up here and say, okay, we got a decent daily imbalance there that I've already drawn out. Another one up here, order block right there. So you can start picking targets. Little imbalance right there. That's if you're like a swing trader, right? If you want to take like a super small amount and just let it kind of run. I know people that do that in their Forex account. Like they'll day trade every day, but they'll also take like micro lots, like 0.01, where it's like 10 cents a pip or something. And they'll just let this thing run and, just they won't even pay attention to it. It's almost like an investment. They just enter it and just let it go. I know you can't do that with like the real life trading funded account because you have to have everything closed out by Friday. It kind of sucks. But there's not a lot of people that trade that way in Forex. I say that there's probably a lot of traders that actually trade that way. Just don't post a whole lot of it. The fact, looking at this on the daily, the fact that we did not close, this is obviously a higher low. Makes me believe that this is going to be a pretty strong little area. If we do punch through, it might be an immediate rejection. We'll see though. You swing trade in some of the funded accounts you have with FX. Yes, my Forex funds, you can hold trades as long as you want. They don't really care. I'm almost positive that's the case, but I think it's really one of the only ones. In Lilu futures trading, you can actually hold over the weekend. They don't force you to close down your trades. They just kind of warn you like, hey, when I was with Audacity made you close at the end of the week, but you could email them and be like, listen, I'm perfectly positioned for a move. This is my reasoning for holding it. And they would 99.9% of the time probably approve it. So, but I know right now, initially, RLT's funded accounts, you can't hold past Friday. All right, if you go by the bodies, like I like going by the bodies, we did just break through that trend line, right? Yeah, and nothing against RLT funded accounts. Clearly, I want one. I think everybody should get one. Obviously, they're reputable. You can trust them. It's Jeremy and Matt, like probably two of the best people I've ever met. And even though I've only met them once, that's probably two best people I've ever met. I've been part of this community for 2 years now, 2.5 years now. Wait a minute. 2 years. 2 years now, fully for 2 years. And then previously, before that, I've known about RLT. But anyways, so I mean, it's a trusted account. My Forex fund has been around for a pretty while. Nothing but positive things coming out of that place. I've had them before, had their accounts before, and never had an issue. Had an issue with my trading. Never had an issue with their accounts. They're a one-time fee, pretty cheap fee. They've even got an account now you can buy. It's like $5,000, but no. The account is 5,000. To get the account is only $50, like 49. And you trade the $5,000 account. So I mean, you can't lose more than like 250. I think there's daily drawdowns and then there's overall drawdown. So you got to be careful with that because there is a daily drawdown. Like you can't lose more than 250 in that account in a day. You got to make only make 8%. It's not 10%. So you got to make $400 on that $5,000 account. So I'm trying to talk to my parents. Actually, well, back it up. I have talked to my parents into getting one of those, so I can trade for them. not, I'm not doing that professionally by any means. Teach my dad to trade from it, and but during that process of getting that account, I'm helping him get the account. So that way they can have some type of little stream of income where, he's getting to retirement and they didn't do very well with retirement. So I'm going to help them out. Man, this just continue to fall. Let's see. How did the Aussie dollar, it never come back for you either, did it? Let me drop in. It didn't come back for the area that I wanted it. So we could have played this one on the 2-minute chart, but when I went to the 1-minute chart, oh, good, awesome, skin in the game. I don't blame you there. Here's another entry. A little bit of a breakdown, imbalance on the 1 minute. 2-minute probably looks close. Yeah, could have entered there. Nice breakdown. Could have been a second entry. Or was that your first one? Close to it. Oh, nice. Gotcha. Gotcha. And I mean, look at it working out. Like that's ideal. Like if you can just, every now and then, if you just believe that this is going to happen, this is exactly what's going to happen. I mean, look, your risk reward is still great. That's 5 pips to get all the way back up there. 10's a pretty good ways away though. I definitely trail. Get into this lower area right here. I'm just going to put a line on it, make it visual. Whoa. So that's the first imbalance on the 2-minute chart right here from this move that hasn't been covered. We'll put a line on that too. Might be a decent overall target. It's below the 10. Okay, you're just below that. Yeah, that's fine. So probably on a 3-minute chart. There you go. Look at you. I'll take that one off. Yep, nothing wrong with that. Be careful with your spread. All right, Aussie dollar's probably got a little bit larger spread than what the euro does. So you don't want to get down here because you got to get out on the ask line. So you don't want to get down here and hit it with the bid, but not the ask, and you still be in it. So you might want to, if you hadn't already. Gotcha, right there. Yeah. No, that's a good plan right there, man. I want to be in this with you, but I'm not going to jinx you again, man. I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and watch. Dollar. I honestly, Liam, I don't think the Euro USD gets down to one. Um, I think we keep flirting with the areas that it's at right now. But I mean, that's still a long way to go. If you look at it, getting all the way down to one, that's still a pretty good ways to go. And I don't think we get there. All I know is that when I made plans to go to Malaga and actually bought my plane tickets, it was up here. Now we're way down here, which means my dollar is going to transfer and be, pretty solid. I'm not going to lose as much money by exchanging my money. So I'm perfectly okay with the downfall for right now. Well, yeah, and the reason it's bullish is because the dollar's bullish. So the Euro USD, Pound USD, Aussie USD. Remember the is it the base currency? I get these confused sometimes. The pairs are called something. There's base and something else, and I think the base currency is the first one. I'm gonna have to go to Investopedia to look that up. Let me go here. Yeah, it's gonna bother me. I gotta look that up. Let's see. Okay. Quote. Let's see. The quote and base. Yeah, there's a quote and a base. So maybe the base is the second one. All right. So the first currency appearing in a currency pair quotation followed by the second part of the quotation called the quote currency or the counter currency. No, that doesn't. Let's see. What is the base currency? Currency unit prices are quoted as currency pairs. Let's see. When you buy a pair, you buy the base currency. There you go. My bad. I had it backwards. Base currency. Yeah, base currency is the first currency pair. The first currency in a pair that you see. So when you buy the Euro USD, the base currency is the Euro. Ouch. Yeah. So the base currency is the first currency that we look at. Uh, nope, it's not what I wanted. There we go. Yeah, the first currency is the base currency. So when you're buying the Aussie dollar, you're buying the Aussie, and then um, That looks pretty familiar. Now you just need this. Just like that did it. But we're climbing closer to 615, 630. So probably repositioning. Oh, good management, man. Break even trade. Nothing wrong with that. This kind of a surge, slight little structure break. I am not going to be playing this. I'm going to let that fly. Yeah, got in, got out. And I mean, we did break down. Like it was a good trade. Structure break, imbalance. You got in right there, close to 50% of that. Good trade. Just didn't have enough room for the full move. And it's the only one that's moving like that, too, by the way. Yes. Yes, Liam, on the dollar CAD. Wow. Yeah, the CAD was moving like this yesterday. Just more reason to take this short. We just manipulated these highs right here, and then we broke down. The trend line is more liquidity, right? So we're breaking into that. Just closed. Let's see a retracement, possibly back up into here. If it does that, it's a good imbalance to trade from. But because the dollar's been so strong, look at that. It's back in that area right here. It's hard to bet against the dollar right now. I mean that grinding trend right there. But it is below the 10. If this holds below the 10, then that might change some views. Pretty good spot right there. Break the dollar yen as well. Looking a little bit like the CAD there. If I were setting this up, I'd put it right on here. Stop above, 10 pip stop. Probably looking at about 20-ish. Yeah. Maybe grabbing some of this liquidity right here. That might be a little bit more of a push. Maybe 16 might be a little better. That's the end of that imbalance. You do have, that would be partial. And then overall. Maybe something to consider right there. And I honestly like it better than I do the CAD. Even though I feel like they're both going to break down in the same way. More pip for my buck, even though it's a stronger, a higher stop. Yeah, I like that. Oh, take it easy. Oh, dang, I didn't see it in time. Well, on the recording, if you were to watch this, see you, man. Have a good day. I think this might be a good time for me to call it, Bubba. 622. Oh, yeah, look at that. It does this a lot. Like it will consolidate like this quite a bit and just grind in one direction and never really give you a way to get in. But if you found that entry on the Euro Aussie, then it's very profitable because the amount of pips that you can get from one move, you know, I mean, that's a 40 pip move, where that's probably on like a 15 pip move on the Euro USD. So do like that on the dollar yen. I like it way more than I like the CAD. So I'm going to leave this right here. This might be exactly what I'm looking for. Let's check out the NAS and then we'll call it a day. Just ran the swept the highs here. Look at that perfect delivery into that imbalance. We do have a little liquidity up in here. Could see another push through. We did break this structure. $15-minute chart. Okay, yeah. This would be the structure that I'd be looking for it to go, you know, for it to keep going. And it would need to get up into here. As of right now, I'm probably still looking for a short. All right, Bubba. I will same time tomorrow. So tomorrow I may cut it a little bit shorter tomorrow too, because we're heading out of town. My son's birthday's tomorrow. July 1st. So we'll be heading out of town with him, taking him to casino. We recommend, right? But then we will but I'm still going to be here first thing in the morning. Just may cut it a little bit short so I can get the video out to the community and stuff. So, all right. Well, we will see you tomorrow then.